Hello, hello. Welcome to Inklings with Irena, the weekly energy show connecting you to your intuitive guidance system. And today I want to talk about the cards, specifically 3 myths that I want to talk about around tarot cards. So welcome. If we haven't met, my name is Irena Miller. I'm an intuitive energy guide, and I've been guiding women for over 20 years in how to speak the language of intuition using a variety of tools like the cards themselves. So let's get into this. One of the first things I want to give you a little bit of background on is where I'm coming from and how I interpret this. Because I learned early on in my energetic adventure, many a moon ago, that it's important to know whoever you're studying or learning from, where are they coming from? What's their lineage? Who have they studied with? What's their intention for studying this and sharing it? So to give you a little bit of background, I am a Christian and I was born into Catholicism and had an incredibly ecumenical parents. So had a wonderful adventure getting an opportunity to also connect with a lot of other ways of connecting with God. And for me, that's what the cards are really about. Having become certified in yoga, what I found was that there was a way to feel comfortable and gain connection right here in this very moment to something bigger than ourselves. You could start to feel that connection, how our actions had an effect on the world around us. So for me, what it became was a lifelong study, because I have a deep calling to study this energetic work, this spiritual connection, to find a way to connect with God. And I have invested thousands of hours and time in studying with incredible teachers around the globe, both becoming certified and initiated in energy work like Reiki healing, incredible teachers like Jean Houston and Donna Eden and Joe Dunning that I've studied with, just to name a few, as well as incredible tarot teachers. Over 20 years ago, I began my journey with the cards, and I certified locally with a teacher here, and then continued my studies in the online world, meeting incredible teachers like Bridget Esselman of Biddy Tarot and continuing to study and learn with her. So there is a lot of respect that I have for these spiritual practices and techniques. It's not just something I pick up happenstance from a random book, but I do search out and seek out specific teachers to learn from, incredible masters, so that I can share with you what I've learned, especially through my lens coming from that Christian background, because this kind of lends itself into one of the first big myths that makes tarot so scary. And the first myth, what I call it, is giving your power away. It's not about giving your power away. Hello, Billy. It's great to have you. And Renee, hello. Fantastic to have you too. So when I first offered to read for people 20 plus years ago, I was met with an intense wall of fear. It was like, oh my God, what did you say? Like, oh, that's against my religion. It's blasphemous. I'm going to offend God. It's in the Bible that there's, that divination and fortune telling, it goes against God. Okay, here's where interpretation comes down to this. When I read the cards, it is not fortune telling, because if it's fortune telling, I'm giving my power away to some pieces of paper, right? This deck of cards, like, oh no, what's going to happen to me? Holy cannoli. God gave us free will. I totally believe that. Even God isn't telling us what to do. He gives us the right to choose. It's that free will. Now, within that, when we have loving hearts and, and we honor God, we make choices that are in alignment with that, in honoring God, but we have free will. So when we read the cards, the way that I interpret it, the way that I've come to really experience it over the 20 plus years, is that it's about an energetic weather report. It's kind of like turning on the television in the morning and the weather person says, oh, we've got a front coming in. It's going to be some rain, but for those of you who are by the coast, expect, stronger weather, maybe even a hurricane. Then the people have the right to choose. What am I going to do? Am I going to weather the storm? Should I bring an umbrella today? Should I stay at home? Heck, should I go to a different town? life isn't happening to them. They get to choose. So the cards isn't about giving your power away to some cards. You don't have to fear them. It's a simple matter of getting an energetic weather report, like what's happening around me, and this leads and lends itself into another big aspect I want to talk about, which is this isn't The Walking Dead. Oh my God, that show creeps me out. If that creeps you out, let me know in the comments. If you're a fan of that show, I mean, the actors are incredible. I love it. But I kid you not, that scares me so bad. The cards don't scare me. That show scares me. Oh my God. So when I use the cards, I'm not opening a portal to talk to some evil demons. It's not an experience for me where I'm just randomly saying, okay, who's out there? Who wants to play? I'm very specific with my intention with who I'm connecting to. Like if you're looking for great financial advice, you're not going to go to Aunt Sally the gambler and say, hey, I got a bonus of $500 or $1,000. Where do you think I should invest it? She's like, I got the place. Let's go down to the track. She would not be the best one to go to for advice. I'd want to go to a trusted financial advisor who had a degree, who had a background, who had experience, a track record that I could count and trust on. So who you're connecting to really matters. When I connect with using the cards, I connect with God. I go right to the big guy in the sky and I'm saying, okay, God, can you give me a heads up? It's just another tool, like a devotional. For years I used a devotional in the morning saying, okay, let me sit down and contemplate and reflect. The cards can do that. They can help us discover aspects that we were unaware of about ourselves, deep within a subconscious layer, areas where we were tripping ourselves up, which this leads into the next big myth that I want to bust today, is that this isn't a party trick. This isn't something to be treated lightly like another wonderful little magic 8-ball, which I love the magic 8-ball, but this is a sacred tool and practice that I have spent many, many, many years, 2 decades, really honing and practicing this methodology, working with this tool to develop a clear line of communication with God, with the divine, with source. And this is what I teach my students because it's all about that connection, having clear communication line, which leads us into questions. The questions you ask are a vital piece of the puzzle. They need to be clear and concise. Think of it this way. If you go into an ice cream store and you're like, hey, I'd like a scoop of ice cream, you're probably going to be met with a couple of confused stares because they'd be like, okay. And if you don't give any information, they could randomly choose for you and say, okay, here you go. And you're like, I hate pistachio. I didn't want pistachio. So the questions you ask are so important in the types of answers you receive, so it's not confused or muddled. This is what I help my students do as well, formulate questions, because it's not about giving your power away. It's not about, should I go for this job? It's like, no, what potential opportunities does this job offer me? Oh, now that's interesting, because then off of that information, with free will, I get to choose, is that something that's appealing? What about this job? Or vacations? Like, what do I need to know about vacationing at the beach? What am I not seeing about potentially going to the mountains instead? It's about engaging with the energy around you and giving you an extra boost up. It's kind of like a secret little, wonderful, like a secret weapon in your pocket. You have access to extra information that most people don't have because you're tuning in. You're having that conversation with God. So if this is something that you're curious about, if you're interested in what it's like, I am actually got something very fun happening. I'm going to add a link in the comments below. So make sure you go to those comments. Come hang out with me over in my free Facebook group while I'm still accepting members, because I've got a fun event going on and you need to grab a time slot to join me. So thank you for being here. Oh, Candy, yes, the magic 8-ball. Thank you, Renee. Yes, it is about accessing extra information. Yeah, it's not about opening a portal into some crazy wild alternative world. But it really is just like that moment where you feel a presence over your shoulder and you're thinking of your loved one and you're like, I feel like my mom's with me right now. I'm thinking of her and I feel her with me. It's like that moment. It's connecting with our loved ones and with our helpers on the other side. So click the link, come join the fun and continue this adventure with me. Catch you guys on the flip side. Bye guys.